Inside the Voyager, Kara activated a rudimentary radar system that operated on old electromagnetic principles. "We're blind to everything but the basics," she said. "That's all we need," Adrian replied, his eyes scanning the radar display. "Plot a course through the densest part. If we can't see them, they can't see us." The Voyager moved deliberately, its course design shielding it from the worst of the nebular interference. Meanwhile, ships with hyper-advanced hulls suffered, their exotic materials reacting poorly to the ionized gases. By the time they emerged from the labyrinth, the Voyager had overtaken several competitors. The final stretch was the Gauntlet of Titan, a treacherous asteroid field surrounding a massive gas giant. Speed alone wouldn't guarantee success here. Precision was critical. The alien ships, with their sleek designs, danced through the asteroids with impressive agility. The Voyager, in stark contrast, barreled through like a battering ram. "Shields at 40%, Kara warned as another asteroid glanced off the hull. "Hold steady," Adrian said, steering the ship toward a particularly dense cluster. "We're almost through." The Voyager's reinforced hull, built not for elegance but for durability, absorbed impacts that would have obliterated other ships. Alien pilots watched in disbelief as the primitive human vessel powered through, leaving a trail of pulverized rock in its wake. As the finish line approached, only 3 ships remained in contention: a sleek vessel from the Ilarian Dominion, the technologically superior flagship of the Zorathi Collective, and the starborn Voyager. The Ilarian ship surged ahead, its speed unmatched, but as it entered the final turn, its overtaxed engines failed spectacularly, sending it spinning out of control. The Zorathi flagship was next. Its pilots smirked, confident in their victory, until a sudden burst of radiation from the nearby star fried their delicate systems. The ship faltered, drifting off course. And then there was the Voyager. Adrian and Kara pushed the fusion drive to its limits, the ship rattling ominously as it neared critical stress. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the bulky, battered vessel crossed the finish line first, its engines sputtering one final time before going silent. For a moment, there was only stunned silence. Then the cheers began. Humanity, the so-called primitive newcomers, had won the Intergalactic circuit. The awards ceremony was held on a massive space station orbiting a nearby planet. Adrian and Kara stood on the podium, flanked by alien dignitaries who struggled to mask their embarrassment. The trophy, a towering crystalline structure, was presented to them by the Zorathi ambassador, whose tentacles trembled with barely concealed frustration. "Congratulations," the ambassador said, his voice dripping with forced politeness. "Your unconventional methods have proven effective." Adrian accepted the trophy with a gracious nod. "Thank you. But it wasn't just our methods, it was our spirit." As the crowd erupted into applause, Kara leaned over and whispered, "Think they'll stop calling us primitive now?" Adrian chuckled. "Not a chance, but next time they'll think twice before underestimating us." And with that, humanity's legend in the stars began. The next leg of the race led through the solar tempest, a region of volatile solar flares and intense radiation. Here, the alien ships activated their energy shields and adaptive hulls to absorb the radiation. The Resolute had no such luxury. Instead, its crew donned radiation suits and rerouted power to reinforce the ship's armor. "This is insane," Dralvix muttered as he watched the human ship barrel through the tempest. Yet, to his astonishment, the Resolute maintained its course. Its crew expertly maneuvered around solar flares, using the ship's sturdy construction to withstand bursts of radiation that would have overwhelmed more advanced vessels. By the time the race reached the Nebula Drift, a region of dense, colorful gases that disrupted sensors and communications, the Resolute was in the middle of the pack. Here, the human advantage became apparent. While the alien pilots relied on their ship's AI to navigate, the humans relied on old-fashioned star charts and manual calculations. The Resolute cut through the nebula with precision, its crew working in perfect harmony. "They're using math?" An incredulous commentator exclaimed. "Primitive, but effective." As the final leg of the race approached, the Resolute was in third place, trailing only Dralvix and Zakral. The course led through a gravity well, a hazardous region where space-time warped unpredictably. The alien ships, with their advanced inertial dampeners and gravity drives, prepared to make their final push. But the humans had one last trick up their sleeve. "Engage Phase 2, Elena commanded. "Phase 2 engaged," Malik replied, a grin spreading across his face. The Resolute's engines roared as it activated a prototype gravitational slingshot system. Instead of fighting the gravity well, the Resolute used it to catapult forward, its speed doubling in an instant. The crowd gasped as the human ship shot past Zakral and closed in on Dralvix. The Xarthenian pilot panicked, pushing his ship to its limits, but the Resolute was relentless. As they approached the finish line, the two ships were neck and neck. "Come on, Resolute," Elena shouted, her hands steady on the controls. In a final burst of speed, the Resolute surged ahead, crossing the finish line mere milliseconds before Dralvix. The crowd erupted in stunned silence, unable to process what they had just witnessed. The primitive human ship had won the Galactic Grand Prix. The alien pilots were speechless. Dralvix's face twisted in disbelief. How? How did they do it? Skral chuckled, his respect for humans evident. They did it the human way. Ingenuity, determination, and guts. As the Resolute docked at the winner's platform, Elena and her crew stepped out to deafening applause. The Galactic Council representatives, who had mocked their entry, now stood in awe. Elena raised the trophy high, a triumphant smile on her face. "Never underestimate humanity," she declared. "We may be primitive to you, but we've mastered one thing you'll never understand: the art of perseverance." The victory of the Resolute was more than just a win. It was a statement to the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with, a species that thrived on challenges and turned impossibilities into triumphs. And as the humans celebrated, the galaxy watched, knowing that this was just the beginning of humanity's rise among the stars.